Okay, welcome back. And today I am going to start a short series on Introduction to Unity. Basically, the intent is to be able to show you how to set up in Unity. I'm going to assume that you don't know anything about Unity. So we'll go through the process of opening it up, starting a project, and then downloading some assets so that we can create a walk-around environment that we can import our models into that we've made in Maya so that you can see what they look like sort of in a video game type scenario, since most modeling ends up in video games or in animation. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put a little plug-in for my page here, putting on the Fritz animation. Please subscribe. I could use some help. You can see 30 whole subscribers here. All right, enough of that. So here is the city that we've been working on in my class. All these are student-built buildings, and we now have this city that we exported into Unity, and we created an entire game environment that you can walk around in and kind of check it out. So let me go ahead, and what we're going to do for this project is I'm going to import just a couple of these buildings just to show the process. Alright, so now let's go ahead and get Unity started. I'm going to double click on Unity. It'll open up, and this first page will pop up, and you'll see if you have any projects started, they'll all be listed here. Some will be on your disk. There may be others that you have in the cloud. Alright, so with that, now I'm going to go ahead and click on New, since this is a new project. I'm going to give it a name, and I'm going to call this Unity Intro 2. And I'm going to leave it as a 3D because that's the template I want to use. I'm going to locate it here on my hard drive. And actually I'm going to move it out of there. That's not where I want it to go. I'm going to create a new project. And I'm just going to go ahead and drop it under my Unity folder. I'm going to select that folder. And now, and actually I selected it twice because I have two subfolders. Let's go ahead and not put it there. What I want to do is just put it on my E drive under the upper level Unity folder. You can put yours wherever you would like. Okay, so I have that. And now over here, the template, you have choices between 3D, 2D, 3D, and some other higher definition lightweight RFP. We're just going to leave it 3D. This is the place where we could add assets if you already have some that were downloaded. My guess is since you're new to Unity, you don't have any of these. I'm not going to check any of these and import them now. I'm going to go ahead and go through the process of showing you where to find them in the asset store and how to download them and install them. So we're going to treat this as if this is the very first time. So once I have that all set up, I'm going to go ahead and click Create Project. That window will close. Everything will kind of disappear. It'll kind of look like it's not doing anything, but it is in the background. Wait a minute or so. And maybe a little longer. Alright, and then it'll pop open, and it'll probably look something like this. Your windows may be positioned a little bit differently, but overall it'll probably look similar to this. And let's kind of take a look around. Right up here are our files, edit, assets, game object, all of the typical places for our tabs that we normally find, so we could click through them, edit, a lot of the same edit features. Assets are where we can create new assets and do import assets, import packages, things like that. Game objects, where we can go to create new game objects. We'll be looking at the 3D object here shortly. Components that are inside that we could add to it, like meshes, effects, physics, things like that. Windows helps you lay out your windows. You can change your current layout if you have a preferred layout you want, as well as some other things in here. We have general, which take us to these different locations to open new things if we needed to. If something was missing, for example, in your window, you could go here to general. rendering. We can go into lighting settings and change the way our light skybox looks, and there's some other things we're probably not going to get into too much in this tutorial. And then of course the help tab. Across the top, this is the selection button. You can use it to select objects. You can use it to move your scene around, pan it up and down. This is the move tool or selection tool. I can use it to select objects. This is the rotation tool. If I go ahead and go back to the move tool. So with the move tool, if I hold the Alt button and click my left mouse button, I can pan around like this and move all over the place, just like you would in Maya. So it's Alt left mouse button. Alt middle mouse button allows you to do that same panning feature, and you can see as I do that the different buttons up here highlight. So if I was going to rotate my look view, and then I can also hold Alt right mouse button, and if I move up and down, left and right, it zooms me or zooms the camera in slowly. Same here. Now these actual buttons also work when we create object inside of Unity. They work very similar to Maya. So let's go ahead and I'll just show that example real quick. Go ahead and create a actually game object, 3D object. We'll just create a cube. And right here is a cube, and this is the move button. Okay. Also the rotate button. Then we can scale our object there. Also, it works the same as it does in Maya. W switches to move on your keyboard, E for rotate, and then R for scale. Okay? And we can scale it in and out. Now we don't need this object, but you can see here under our hierarchy, the name of our scene right now is sample scene because I haven't named it anything. We have a main camera, which is that. I can select it by clicking on the different objects inside my hierarchy as well. My directional lighting, and then I can go back to the cube. Now I don't want that cube. I'm going to hit delete, and it goes away. Hierarchy shows us all of our objects and how their relationship is with each other. So if I had different objects attached to my camera, there would be an arrow right here, a little down arrow. And you'll see that as we move along with some other assets that we're going to pull in. There'll be a down arrow, and then there'll be children underneath the parent. Okay, and there may even be some children underneath those as well. Across the top here, this is the scene. So within the viewport, we have the scene set up. We can go to game, which kind of shows you what it would look like in that part of the scene. Asset store takes you to the asset store, and we're going to revisit the asset store here shortly. Back to scene. Over here is the inspector, services, and navigation. So the inspector is just that. If I clicked on one of these objects in the scene, all the details about that object come up over here. Services, this is where you can go to set up ads, analytics, do some cloud building. If you have the Unity Pro, you can have a lot more assets and a lot more things that you can do in here because you're paying for a service, and it comes with some free stuff. And then you can also pay for your cloud build, so more storage space and more collaboration. And then navigation. Navigation we'll visit perhaps a little bit later, particularly with agents or areas. Most likely with agents to be able to set up our area that we can walk around in. All right. Collaborations up here. This would be your cloud, information about your account. Layers, different layers that we have available. And we can change our layout of our entire scene from this button as well. Down here in the bottom, underneath the viewport and the hierarchy, there's a project tab. This shows you everything that is available for you to work with in your project. And right now, there's not much. I have my assets. This is the scene, which is the sample scene, which comes with the main camera and directional light. And then packages, if we have any packages that we've plugged into down here. At this point, I don't have much in here. And there's those little arrows I'm talking about. These would be similar to what you see up here under your hierarchy. These windows are movable. I can move it left and right to give myself more space in my hierarchy or more space in my viewport. I can do it on both sides. Because it's a larger work area, you can shrink it down This also moves up and down. Console shows us any type of scripting errors or errors that are in our scene that may be a problem. We can clear them here. We have other settings that we can do as well. We can pause our errors. We can have a clear on play so that when you hit play, if there's any errors down here, it'll clear them. Sometimes you have some errors that will not let you play though, and you'll get a red error down here along the bottom, and you can check it out, see what the problem is, and come in and try to fix it. Hopefully we don't have any of those, since we're not going to do anything too fancy. We're just really trying to make a scene that we can walk around in and be able to take a closer look at the models that we built. Okay, so when we click on the Asset Store tab, and if you don't have the Asset Store tab, we can go to Window and then go to General, and right here click on Asset Store or Control 9, and it should bring up the Asset Store tab for you. And inside the Asset Store, we're going to first type in here in the search box standard assets, and we get most of the way through, and you can see right here at the top, this is a Unity Technologies. If we click on that, it looks like a little model kit right here, and basically the standard asset kit has all kinds of stuff that you can use. What we're after are some of the models, maybe some of the textures that we'll use for the trees and things like that, vegetation, and we definitely want the first person character controller. Okay, so yours probably says download right here. If you click on it, it'll download a little bit, and then it'll turn pink again and it'll say import. Once it hits as import, you can click on import, and it does this again. And after it does a little bit of decompressing, this window up here should appear. And if you don't see it on this monitor, if you're working with two screens, two or more monitors, look on one of the other monitors. It usually appears in the upper left-hand corner of one of those monitors. And we want to go ahead and import everything. So we're just going to go ahead and, since everything looks like it's checked, go ahead and say import. And it'll import the package. And that usually takes a few seconds. Okay, compiling scripts. And it's still downloading. Or importing, rather. It's a fairly large package, so it could take a while for it to finish downloading or installing. Okay, and it looks like it's probably done, so we can take a look over here and see what we have. And right there, under my assets, we have standard assets. That's been downloaded, and you can see that we have a bunch of folders under here. And in here, we have vehicles, utilities, all kinds of stuff that we can use, characters, cameras. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to install the next package we want. We're going to give ourselves a few more vegetation choices. So I'm going to type in nature starter, and as you can see, I get most of the way through, and we're going to download nature starter kit number 2. There's also number 1. There's quite a few others. Many of these are ones that charge, but what I'm showing you are some free ones that you can get started with. Again, you'll probably have download over here. And once you click on it, it should download and then hit import. And again, we wait. Okay. And hit import again. And we wait some more. And when this pops up, what it's telling you is that there are some scripts and assemblies that have some obsolete APIs. Those type of things could cause problems with your project, other things that are in your project that you may have already set in there. Since we're getting everything set first, we don't have anything for it to ruin yet. So we can pretty much go ahead and just say I made a backup, go ahead, and that should be okay. But for example, one of the projects in class, we're working with the 3D game kit, which is a Unity game kit, and some of my students decided they wanted to get some standard assets in there, and there was discovery that the standard assets actually interfere with the 3D game kit and cause all kinds of problems, so we just ended up deleting it. So there is always that option. We could find what's causing the problems and try to fix them, or if the package is really not necessary, you can always just delete it. So we're going to go ahead and say I made a backup, go ahead. And we wait some more. And I'm going to go ahead and pause while this finishes downloading. Okay, so welcome back. We've got everything that we wanted for right now. You can always look around in the asset store. There are lots of other free assets that you want to play around with and kind of get the feel for Unity, learn how to do things, and before you start paying for the higher, some of the other assets that you might want, some of the ones that cost more. All right, so now I'm going to go back to scene, and here is my basic scene. So this video has been long enough. I'm going to go ahead and stop it here, and this will be the end of video number 1. I'll pick up with actually bringing in our terrain and getting things started in the next video. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you later.